Faith Time, of course, is our weekly conversation on matters of faith, and joining us this morning is Dr. Joe Savage, author, speaker, and the founding director of Roads of Hope, a nonprofit that rescues orphans from being sex trafficked in Eastern Europe. Thanks for joining us this morning, sir.
Glad to be here, Chad.
So we wanted to talk about heroes of the faith, and you wanted to highlight one man in particular in your life. Who's he?
Would be Fred Wolf.
Okay.
He was my pastor. Many of that name's recognized by a lot of people around Mobile. He was my pastor, or has been my pastor, for 47 years. We started going to Cottage Hill Baptist Church, he was there for 25 years as senior pastor when I was 4 years old, all the way through. And today, I'd still consider him as my pastor, my mentor.
That is a long time to have anybody in your life who is not necessarily a blood relative. So how did his work guide your life?
Well, I would say just growing up at Cottage Hill. I mean, hearing him preach week after week after week, and his message has always been consistent. Yeah. Consistency is the scriptures is God's word. It's a guide for life. Read it, stay in touch with it. And then that Jesus is Lord. He's first and preeminent. And that has guided me all the way through in really giving me that foundation for me and my family, all the Savages that we grew up right there at Cottage Hill with him.
Yeah, I was doing a story last year on Mac Morrison. He had retired from his regular ministry. And it's rare to talk about somebody that retires from the ministry or has such a very, very long legacy. What do you think Fred Wolf's legacy is?
Oh, gosh, Chad, I would say this. This can be a bold statement.
All right.
I would say that Fred Wolf is probably the greatest influence on the Central Gulf Coast in the last 50 years.
Okay, how so?
The reason being is, one, he pastored Mobile's first megachurch. Back in the day, Cottage Hill had 8,000 members. He pastored during that time, began to have a significant influence, but also over 100 men and women have been called into the ministry under his teaching to become pastors, missionaries, ministers of whatever type. And two, what people don't realize is in the mid to early 70s, he was a major advocate of overcoming racial segregation. And I remember right there at Cottage Hill, seeing black people come for the first time, which was awesome to see that. And just reaching across denominational lines. But within Southern Baptist life, a lot of people don't realize Southern Baptists were at a crossroads in the 80s and even into the 90s. Which direction were they going to go? How did they adhere to the scripture? And Brother Fred, as he is so affectionately called, he was a part of a very small group that navigated and kept Southern Baptist where the scripture is God's word and it's inerrant and holding true to that.
Talking a little bit more generally, why is it important to have spiritual heroes in one's own life?
Oh gosh, I think because we drift. I think we all need spiritual heroes, whatever that may be defined as, but we drift. Human nature is to take a drift, but we need spiritual heroes, people who are pouring into us, who love us enough and can give us enough wisdom to get us back to center point where we need to always be. And that's who Fred Wolf has been. And by the way, Chad, one more thing too. His wife passed away this past week. His wife, Ann, who they've been married for I don't know how long, a long, long time. Yeah. And so be praying for him and his family.
Talking about spiritual leaders, can anybody be a spiritual hero, or is that really just reserved for folks that are in the clergy or pastors?
Well, certainly, I don't think any of us can live up to Fred Wolf's legacy, but I would say we all can be, whether we be a parent, a grandparent, a coach, a teacher, whatever, because a spiritual hero is someone who steps into someone else's life at the right time. And we all have struggles and hardships and difficulties, and the spiritual hero is one who brings you back to where you need to be and gets you through with hope and encouragement, through those dark seasons. And that's what Fred Wolf has done for me personally.
Always good to have your spiritual heroes. Dr. Joe Savage, thank you for joining us for this edition of Faith Time, and News 5 this morning will continue.